Welcome to another episode of J Inclusive. Please share, like, comment, subscribe, and set your notifications on so you are alerted every time I upload. Born to a 15-year-old teenage mother in one of the poorest cities in the United States, Camden, New Jersey.
The most troublesome thing about this scene for law enforcement officials in Camden, New Jersey is not that a man gets shot. It is that after the man gets shot, no one calls the police.
People become so conditioned to the sound of gunfire in their neighborhoods, they weren't even calling the police. Now that's scary.
In 1 out of 3 shootings in Camden, no one calls police. 170 open-air drug markets draw customers from the suburbs and gunfire from all directions. The police call this street Heroin Highway. The city currently holds 2 records: highest murder rate in the country, 87 per 100,000, and lowest average income, $21,000. Camden is familiar to anyone who knows war.
Almost looks like a war zone. I mean, I've seen similar maps in Iraq or Afghanistan where we have these neighborhoods under control, they have these neighborhoods under control.
That's absolutely correct. I mean, a lot of what we do employ a lot of counterinsurgency.
Counterinsurgency in New Jersey means boots on the ground. 401 police officers, up from 250 with federal assistance.
Your presence has made such a difference.
And high tech. When a gunman fired 17 shots at a school bus in broad daylight, a system of microphones called ShotSpotter gave police his location within 9 feet, with no phone calls from a neighbor. Shepard, 1 out of 5 buildings in Camden is abandoned. The police chief told me if he could just tear down these abandoned buildings, he thinks he could cut the drug trade here in half.
Teyon and his brother Keyon were raised by their mother as their father disappeared just before their birth. Fearing for the life of her twins, Tawana moved out on her own to escape her physically abusive mother. As adults, the twins moved to Philadelphia, but again, they were not financially secure, but due to their looks, they saw modeling as a way to escape poverty. But this was not enough to support them, and they soon gave in to a more tempting offer to pose nude for a website called Black Men in 2004. Teyon said his brother, who was already doing legitimate modeling and gay porn, invited him to a modeling gig in Las Vegas. We get to Vegas, and the next morning, they make a proposition. We need you guys to match in front of the camera. We went into the bathroom and argued for like 10 minutes. Keon's like, I need this money and you need it too. Nobody's gonna see it. And I went through with it. Keyon, who was openly gay, persuaded his brother to accept. Thus, Teyon, who identified as heterosexual, became a gay actor for pay.
Then out of nowhere, another young black dude came into our hotel suite. I looked at Kyle like, what's going on? He said Victor and Wally can use the bathroom. No, I asked Victor and Wally, can we use the bathroom before we got started? They told us, okay. So we went into the bathroom, and Kyle had this dumbass look on his face. He said, Teyon, they wanted to do a scene with that guy who just walked into the room. I said, what the fuck is a scene? I thought this was a nude photo shoot. He said, it is, but we got to do a scene too. I told him, that. Let's pack our shit. Tell these freaks to take us to the airport. Kyle, please. He then asked me to stay in the bathroom momentarily while he went out and spoke to Victor and Wally. When he came back into the bathroom, he said, okay, I got to straighten out. And I said, he said, all they wanted some still shots and the masturbation scene with me and you. And I'll do the scene with the boy. I still wasn't feeling the masturbation part, but he reiterated, I need this money, Teyon. So I said, let's get this freak shit over with so we can go home. I can remember feeling pissed off at Kyle because I believe that he knew exactly what was going down even before we boarded that plane. But I sucked it up and walked out of the bathroom. I told Victor I didn't feel comfortable getting naked while the boy was present. So they asked him to go in the back room until it was his turn to work. Kyle and I put on matching outfits and bracelets and took some still photos out on the balcony. All I could remember was that my eyes kept burning from all the makeup and the heat from the sun. But the shots still were kind of fun. Then we went back inside, and that's when they asked us to get naked. I felt a little awkward at first, but I figured we were halfway done, so what the hell? They had us stand to take a few more stills before going on with the assignment. They constantly reassured me that they were and our contract wouldn't be violated once the work is released. So I looked at it just like me putting another skeleton in my closet. He then had Wally come in with a large camcorder and a microphone attached to it. He left the room while Wally took over the second scene. He asked us to start jerking and act like it was enjoyable. I subtly gave Kyle a look that said, if you ever tell anyone about this shit, I swear I'll kill you. It took every muscle in his face to keep him from laughing. Then Wally said, I want you guys to moan and look at each other while you're doing it. I had to take my mind to another place just to keep my heart on. Not to mention I was starting to get a headache from the Viagra pill Victor gave me earlier. But then Wally asked us to lean back and climax on our stomachs. Strangely, Kyle's climax was simultaneous with mine. And all I remember Wally saying was, "That was an awesome performance, guys." When it was all said and done, we were only paid $750 apiece. The following morning, we were dropped off at the airport. And I remember feeling my pride just being obliterated. I had a girlfriend at home thinking I was on an official modeling assignment. She was just so proud of me. But inside, I knew I had to go home and look her in her face and pretend that I just did something spectacular, when in reality, it was the worst shit I ever had to stomach in my life. I just remember how proud she was, telling her friends all about what I just did in the modeling photo shoot trip. But inside, I truly felt like a pile of shit. Every time she talked about it, I forced a phony smile on my face.
Other offers came with more risque scenes with professional actors like Mark Williams and Scorpion. This brief career made the Goffney brothers the incestuous black twins of the gay adult industry, which oddly grew them a massive fan base, as it wasn't something people had really seen before. When speaking of some of their work in the industry, Teyon recalled going into the bathroom, crying and throwing up for 20 minutes. Teyon said he only did a few films and several still photos for magazines, but he continued to work in the industry alongside his brother because he believed Keyon when he told him that no one would find out. In an interview, he recalled a time when someone recognized him from his adult work. "When I was in Philly in the gallery, people started noticing me. They'd pull out a magazine in public, and I would sign it real fast and tell them to put it away. Sometimes I'd be with my girl and I'd be like, 'Oh, I just know him from school,' or whatever." Teyon soon realized that he would rather sell illegal substances than to work in the adult industry. In 2006, he went to meet a customer at an apartment complex in Clementon, New Jersey, but it turned out to be a setup, and he was arrested for having a loaded handgun and half an ounce of hard substances. Teyon said he was handcuffed, stomped on, choked, and put into the back of a police car. But what scared him is that the cops made a right into the woods instead of a left toward the police station. He claimed he heard an officer say over the radio as the car started to slow down, "This is good enough." He went into survival mode, and since his hands were cuffed, Teyon broke the car window with his head and catapulted himself out of the window and down a hill. As he stood up, he found himself in water. He heard the police yelling, saw their flashlights, and decided to let the current carry him downstream. He ended up 2 blocks away and had somehow evaded the police. A week later, he turned himself in. After his high-profile bust, no one would give him illegal substances to sell. But he had a friend who offered to teach him a new trade, how to break into ATMs. Although his twin Keyon was still modeling for well-known brands like Nike, the twins found themselves in need again. This is how they made headlines one February morning in 2008 after robbing a cosmetics store in South Philly. During this last burglary job together, Teyon was inside Moon's beauty shop when he heard his brother Keyon, who was the lookout, say over their cell phone, "The cops got me surrounded." Keyon was nabbed at the scene, but even with the entire place surrounded, Teyon got out. He was only caught when he went to retrieve his car at a parking garage later that morning. At the time of their arrest, they were already suspected by the police of a dozen similar burglaries in 3 different states, and according to Teyon, he had made $500,000 in the 18 months before his arrest. Their mother, Tawana, who acted as a lookout, following her sons in a Toyota SUV to the beauty shop, was also charged with burglary, conspiracy, and other offenses. She was reportedly freed on $7,500 bail, and the charges were ultimately dropped. Keyon quickly caved, turning on his brother in exchange for a plea deal. In exchange for his confession, Keyon was sentenced to 2 days in jail and 4 years probation, while his brother Teyon paid the price, eventually serving 6 out of an 8-year sentence. Teyon said he spent his first year in prison at SCI Green near Pittsburgh in solitary confinement due to the notoriety of his case. Once he was put into the general prison population, Teyon said men would spit on him because they thought he was gay. "I would go to the shower and there'd be 2 guys in there, and they'd get out because they'd see me coming and think I'd be staring at their genitals." After his release, Teyon stated that he survived those 6 years of confinement thanks to the support of his many gay fans. Mail started pouring in. "I realized that even though I felt completely alone, the gay community was actually rooting for me. They sent money, cards of support, magazines, and books. It put new life in me to be viewed as a figure of change and an advocate. On the days when life got too harsh, I would stay up at night and reread their letters for the motivation to press on. After those years in prison, Teyon said he understood the inequality that existed in our country's judicial system. When you make a mistake, people turn their backs on you. How can ex-cons survive without support? No one even takes the time to listen to you. Free since 2014, Teyon published an autobiographical book entitled On My Search for a Better Life. This is how I became infamous. The book looked back on his life and his descent into hell after the betrayal of his brother, whose confession against him led to him being sent to prison. Teyon held a grudge against his brother for 3 years because he ratted him out. Then he got over it. He was just scared and trying to give them everything he could. I understand now. He was never a street guy, just like I was never a gay guy. And while the brothers hadn't spoke for years since his imprisonment, after his release, Teyon's feelings towards a reconciliation seemed conflicted. In 2015, he took to social media after his release and posted this: "To my brother and any other sucker who think they can stop me. Bullets couldn't stop me, prison couldn't stop me, and snitches couldn't stop me."
Hey everyone, what I'm about to say, this is in no attempt to try to sell my book any further. This is no attempt to try to gain more publicity, but for those who don't know, I'm a twin. My twin brother, his name is Keyon Goffney, or Keyontyli, or Cog, whatever he's calling himself nowadays. Who gives a shit? But my story has been gaining a lot of press. Reality TV reached out to me, and my brother don't like it. You know, I did a good amount of interviews about our scandal back in 2008. You know, my story broke. And apparently, I guess he ain't digging it too much. You know, everything I ever said about my brother is public record. You know, I wouldn't slander him anything or any way that that's not in court or in court documents, or televised or the press. You know, it ain't no secret that he and I used to commit crimes together, and it ain't no secret that you know, he testified against me and my brother and got me sent away for 75 months prison time. And I had to take the deal to keep our mother from going to prison with us. It ain't no secret that yeah, we did a together, but my brother's been recently reaching out on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, making public accusations at me. He even went so low as, you know, to say that I'm really gay. I was gay in prison. I hold in my hand the reason why he and I are no longer close. I hold in my hand the one night that changed our lives, that caused social services to come in and separate my mom's kids. I have 5 siblings. And what I witnessed that night was enough for me to fight my brother. And it's the very reason why he has right over his left ear, he has about a 4 or 5 inch gash, because we ended up going through a back patio window. And my little brother was spending the night with us. We have a little brother, he's 27 now. But I felt it wasn't my place to put it out there, you know, what happened that night. And I was outside, and I walked in on something that enraged me, that caused me to get arrested. Like I said, I hold in my hand, and I didn't want to have to play this card. But since my brother's been posting things on social media, the press picked up on it, so it's about to get crazy again. It's about to be a lot of slander and a lot of scandal. You know, magazines got to do their thing, and press got to do their thing, and TV got to do their thing, and I got to do my thing, you know? I'm a good dude. Yeah, I committed a lot of crimes. I'm out here doing the right thing. I went to school, graduated, you know? Since I've been home, I ain't still a dime. I ain't sell an ounce of drugs, picked up a gun or nothing. In fact, I cut all my street buddies off, relatives, everything. And I'm mentored at prisons and all that, and my brother's trying to destroy that, you know? So, like I say, anything I ever said about him is public record. And in my hand, I hold a court document. And it was dated back. I was arrested at 13 years old in Chislehurst, Barrow, New Jersey, for simple assault. I received a 1-year deferred jail sentence, you know, as a juvenile. And the date was January 31st, 1997. I was arrested for the fight that resulted in me and my twin brother going through the back patio window, because of something I saw when my little brother stayed the night. And I ain't wanted to play that card, but since we going to the press, I'm gonna put it right here. I kept my mouth shut to protect another family member, you know, but since we going public, it is what it is. So, you know, if you want to support the bullshit, do that. If you want to support me, do that. But it's about to get ugly, and I'll keep y'all posted. And if I gotta play this card, then so be it. It's family secrets that shouldn't have been put out there. That's the very reason why he's not with the family. He's at odds with the whole family. The very reason why after 13 he didn't really come home no more. And since he wanted to televise our story, you know, our mother, she know the real truth. Maybe she gonna set the record straight. But like I said, this ain't no attempt to gain no press. It's a lot of bullshit about to commence. It's about to be 2008 all over again. 2008, I couldn't even walk the streets. 2008, when I was locked up, I was put in solitary confinement because of the notoriety of my case. I was a high-profile criminal. I've been home, keeping it low-key. I haven't even been driving because I don't want the police to know that I'm out. But I guess it ain't about to be no secret no more, you know? So here come the reporters. Here come the bullshit. And we'll let the dust settle where it may, you know? So I guess whoever about drama, you know, whatever. But it's just sad, man. And my whole family business about to be put out there. A lot of family members about to be hurt by things that you know, my brother has done, and trying to project on me, you know, whatever. But I don't want it to be no back and forth feud with twins. I got public record of everything. Like I said, all the way down to when we was 13 years old. The very reason we got separated by DIFUS, you know, Child Protective Services, because of something he done.
Later that same year, Teyon seemed to be on the other side of his conflicted feelings towards his twin brother. It's true he testified against me, but he was just scared. He didn't have any experience in the system, and he didn't really understand what he was doing. I know it broke his heart after the fact, when he realized that he couldn't take it back. It broke my heart too, because I loved him so much. Twins are supposed to ride together or die together. I was still inside when I wrote the book, so my anger and resentment is clearly evident throughout. But when we were kids, he was my best friend, so I hope someday we can find our way back to that again. We don't judge each other. Me and that boy been through everything together. But just like that, they were back at odds, leading Teyon to post this video of Keyon online, where he claimed it showed his twin abusing the homeless, and he also made accusations of Keyon being a man of the night.
This large, right?
Yeah.
Yo.
Yeah.
He like he can run.
What?
Over here.
Where you gonna pull up to?
You got it recorded?
Yes.
Here you go. Here, yo.
What's up? Did you touch it?
Yeah, I did. He's shaking his head. He's like, yo, man, what you doing, dude? Did you get it?
Yes.
After his release, Teyon was committed to living a clean life and desired to urge others not to make the same mistakes he did. The last time Teyon was proud of himself for anything was when he won his 3rd grade spelling bee. After he became a father, he turned his life around for the better and went to trade school at Pinko Tech for HVAC and appliance repair. After graduating, he started his furniture, moving, and assembly company. His company grew as he secured commercial clients where he built and installed for stores such as Michael Kors, Apple, and many others. During his success, he employed many of his family members and gave opportunities to troubled youth and those who had a hard time finding work. Teyon said, "As a man, porn hurt me, but as a person, the crime hurt me. A lot of people had to suffer for me to get paid. I'm using my powers towards good now. I'm seeking redemption. Money ruined my life. I was happy when I was broke." Meanwhile, Keyon was going through a divorce after having found out his husband, someone he dated for 3 years, was in love with one of Keyon's friends. The two had only been married for a month.
With all this going on, I still never talk to my family, and including my twin brother. But like I said, in these times, you never know what's going to happen. We're hit by a lot of things we're not prepared for, and I haven't even spoken to my twin in well over 5 years. But like I said, you never know where life's going to take you. And here we are, back again talking and getting to know each other again after so many years of being separated. Not just the past 5 years, through our childhood too. We didn't even grow up together. But strangely and tragically, not tragically, but sadly enough, life has given us another curve. You live your whole life thinking, oh, I'm healthy. I've never been to the hospital. I don't even know the last time I've been in the hospital. But you see people with cancer and other conditions and diseases and things like that. Oh, that's never going to be me. But you never know. You never know. Everybody's bill of health has a expiration date. At any rate, yeah. So we're both back in each other's lives due to, I don't know what you call it, fate. It's not coincidence. I would like to say fate. You know, God has a funny way of bringing people back together, whether it be through tragedy, whether it be through love, or whether it be through some, you know, pre-existing medical condition that you and your twin brother end up having to deal with. And it's not even genetic, because we got a genetic test, and it's not. I just don't understand. But with that said, even now what's going on with this virus, even now what's going on with the tragedy in the world, even what may be going on in anyone's family, I know you may not be speaking to them and you may not be feeling your family, but look past the hate and the beef, because it's just too real now for all that. It's too real for shade, it's too real for beef. And if you can look past all that and try to connect with the person you were born, you knew when you were born, then you might be able to get some answers. Because a lot of us, we don't know a lot of people because we don't even know ourselves. And you know yourself when you go through something. When you go through something scary. For example, my brother's fighting for his life, and I may have dodged it or beaten it. But yeah, cancer is no fair. And I don't want this to be the only reason we're back in each other's lives. But I want us to catch up on lost time. And I never thought we were normal or average people. We always had like amazing abilities, not just being athletes and things like that, but just the ability to get out there and make things happen. Like even now, he owns his own business, and it's very hard for people to get work when they get out of prison. But he found a way to do it on his own. He owns his own business, and he has employees. So I respect and admire him for that. And he has 2 babies now, which makes the whole situation even more sad because he has kids and now he's fighting for his life. And you never know where life's going to take you. And I don't care how pretty, how rich, how popular you are. Nobody's immune to anything. This virus has shown us that we're all the same. And life will tell you the same thing. So, like I said, get past the beef that you may have with family, and do yourself a favor and keep it real. You'd be surprised what happens when people keep it real. You see these things on social media, people posting stories about things in their lives that go viral and all that stuff, and it ain't even about attention. It's just magic happens when people stop trying to show off and when they actually open up and be vulnerable to the world, just to show everyone that we're all the same. So if this teaches us anything, and hopefully we get through this, because the human race we're getting our ass kicked. If this teaches us anything, that we're all the same and we need to keep it real and be there for each other and support each other, and applaud the medical workers and the doctors and the police and military that's doing everything to keep everybody safe and alive. Applaud them. That's the other medicine we need in this world.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think about everything that's going on in the world and what's going on with me and my brother, and it's a shame that it took something like a disease for me and him to reconnect, and then to make us realize how short life is. We let over a decade go by, just petty disputes and things like that, and and when you look in death in the face, it got a way of changing you. I never thought that I'd be 37 years old, I'm walking around with a port in my heart, fighting cancer, and it's a shame that it took that for me and him to reunite. But life got a way of making you see the light. I love him. I'm waiting for him. I mean, because of what's going on, he's stuck in Brazil. I mean, when he come back, I know we're gonna do some good things together. I think about what we did, separate. We did pretty well, changing our lives around. But I know this time around we'll do something pretty cool. I mean, I just wanna tell him I love him, hug him, and let's just try to live the rest of our life, however long that is. Let's just make the best of it, man. And I hope y'all there to see it. In fact, I hope I'm there to see it, man. God bless.
the brothers had reconciled.
Oh, man.
But soon, life would threaten to tear them apart for good. In November 2020, Keyon created a GoFundMe for his brother, along with a heartbreaking message that surprised supporters of the brothers. My twin has stage 4 stomach cancer, and it's now covered his entire liver. 8 months of chemotherapy did nothing, and now he is at risk for liver failure. Once that happens, he will die, and he has 2 young boys, ages 1 and 5. It's been a painful and expensive battle, and I'm not just going to watch my twin die. We have done and will do whatever it takes. So we're asking for help, to help with the medical bills also, in case the worst happens. I don't understand why this is happening and why even with all the doctor's efforts, nothing seems to be working. I will not give up on him or his kids. We're exhausting everything to fight this, so if you please help, even if it's just a little, anything helps us and will go a long way. Thanks in advance from the Goffney family. Keyon announced that his brother had passed away. Rest in peace, my beautiful, brave, brilliant twin brother. I am sorry I did my best to save you. I tried with all my might. You fought hard, and I will be forever impacted by your courage. You officially are the bravest person I know, and I'm so proud of you, and I will keep your honor alive as your twin brother. The Goffney twins' story is a powerful reminder of the unshakable bond of brotherhood. Though their journey was marked by poverty, betrayal, pain, highs and lows, it also revealed the resilience of love, the courage to forgive, and the hope of reconciliation. Sibling relationships can be complicated, but they also carry a depth of connection that time, distance, or conflict can never erase. In the end, their story shows us that forgiveness is not about forgetting the past. It's about choosing love and honoring the bond that can withstand even life's hardest trials. Believing in yourself, your potential, and even if you fall off course, it's never too late to start over and make something of your life. Although their story was cut short, it's beautiful that Keyon and Teyon made peace prior to one of them gaining their heavenly wings.